Hey, what's up, people? It's me again. It's your boy. It's T-Ron. That's Tearon, period. And you are listening to another episode of the Ubiquitous Blacks podcast. And this time we are finally doing something I wanted to do for quite a while here. And with someone I've been wanting to talk with for some time too. We are going to cross the pond here and we're going to go over to the UK and we're going to be talking to my friend Jai, who is here with me today. Jai, before we even get into anything, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Tell them a little bit about you. And yeah, we'll pick it up from there. What's up, man?
Oi. So my name is Jai. That's Jigh, aka Jiggy Jai. Born and raised in London. Singer, rapper, drummer. Trying to make a coin so I can drive a no-man's Hummer. No, I'm joking. And yeah, what can one say? What can I say? Good to be on here, man. It's been a long time coming.
What's going on right now over in the UK for you? Is it cold right now?
Did you say, is it cold? When is it not cold?
It's always cold over there.
That's the question. When is it not cold? Even in the summer, it's cold.
I was telling you before we started recording here that my skin is just completely dry. It's a mess because it's the winter months. But how do you deal, man?
Listen, as I said, we're immune to it. Like, we're so used to it, it's nothing. It's literally like cold and rain. It's like standard procedure here. You know what I'm saying?
I can't.
What is that? What you said? It's cold where you are at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A lot of people think, because of people I associate with, people think that I'm in LA and stuff, but I'm not. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. Well, lately I've not even been in because there's a pandemic.
If I'm correct, is it Texas? Austin, Texas? Was that?
No, I'm definitely not in Texas.
Oh, damn. Where are you again?
I wish. I'm in Mitch McConnell's Kentucky.
Ah, okay.
You see my face?
Okay. So what's it saying there? Is it like generally, is it like hot in the summer, cold in the winter, or is it predominantly hot, predominantly cold?
For here, we have all 4 seasons in this area.
Okay.
So I'm in the Midwest, but we have all 4 seasons. So, summer is summer, spring is, right now it's just cold, but we usually don't get like snow and stuff until maybe like February, sometimes March, sometimes April. But I got to get out of here though. I honestly, I should have stayed over there when I came. I should have. I should have just been on the run. What have you been doing since I was last in London? We got to finally like meet and hang out and everything, which was a whole thing for me, which I always remember because it was my birthday, so I kind of locked that in.
Yes.
But what have you been doing since? I feel like that's been ages ago now, but
I just feel like this whole pandemic lockdown, I just feel like I can't even remember anything.
Yeah, I totally discount last year because nothing happened.
It's just like to the point where I'm almost like I'm even losing tracks of days and stuff. Like, hold on, did that happen this year or last year? Or it's just like, it's crazy. I just can't even. Who knows? But hold on, when was that? That was October. Was that 2019?
It was, yeah, exactly. It was in real time. It was 2019. In COVID time, it was last summer because last year didn't count. But yeah, it was July of 2019. So it's crazy, right?
Wow. It's like it seems so far, but then at the same time, it's like, anyway, what have I been doing? Music. I think 2019, I think I dropped the single What You Know About Me, done a music video, was promoting that. I was doing BBs for a couple of artists.
Doing BBs?
BBs, the backing vocals.
Oh, BGs.
Yeah. BGs? No, B.
Oh, B. What the fuck am I thinking? See, here's what. No, I was thinking background, but
okay. So background, yeah.
Okay, my bad. Here's what we'll do.
Vocals.
BGVs.
Background vocal. Okay, well that's in the UK. We just say BVs. Let's keep it backing vocals. But we'll blame it on your hearing aids. We'll just say you forgot to turn them on and charge them up.
Listen. I didn't know you were a drummer. How long have you been drumming?
Drumming is actually my first love. Drumming is something that I loved. I think probably is from as far back as I remember. I think as far back as 5, when I used to go to church, I used to always just be fascinated by the drummer. And then as a kid, I collect shoeboxes and kind of like make my own drum kit. And I remember, I don't know what your equivalent to it is, but in the UK, we have this, it's like a catalog store. So we had two, it's funny, back in the day, we had two. One was called Argos, one was called Index. Index no longer exists, but Argos is still running. But it's almost like a catalog store that does toys, does stuff for the house. It does stuff so you get this big catalog and you can go to the store and order it, or you can order it over the phone or whatever. And like I remember the kids, okay, so
you could say that stuff over the phone. I don't know if I can't think of anything we ever had like that.
I mean, now we can. Obviously back then we couldn't order over the phone, but it was like a big catalog. Mm-hmm. And in the catalog, it'll have different sections. So it'll be like home section, toy section, electrical section, gardening section.
That's every store here. That's the Walmart.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is, did you have a catalog like you could take home and browse through?
Well, you had, I can't say, there are things that had catalogs that I can think of when I was growing up. It's like Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yeah, well, okay. So that's what I'm saying. So, yeah. But see, Mary Kay Cosmetics, that was solely focused on Mary Kay products. What I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys had an equivalent, because with us,
I don't think we did.
Argos and Index they're like home catalogs that every season they'll have I think they come out twice a year. So it'll be the autumn and winter catalog, then the summer and spring catalog. And basically everyone lists them a catalog at home. You know, just say, I need a new Hoover. You go into the catalog, look into the electrical section, pick what Hoover you want, make a note of the catalog number. Then you'll go to the Argos store and you'll, place your order and pick it up. This is back in the 90s. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we've got the internet. We've got, people don't really rely on catalogs anymore because it's like paper friendly now, environmentally friendly, that stuff. But anyway, getting to the point. So I remember in the toy section, it used to be like a drum kit. And I used to be like, I want this drum. I want this drum. I want this drum. And obviously, being that there was 4 of us, I got 3 siblings. And yeah, I didn't have my own room. So, and then drum kits are noisy. So that was always a dream that never came true.
Oh yeah, you're not getting a drum kit as a little.
But as a result, when I got to secondary school now, so I kind of taught myself how to play the drums. I kind of learned how to play the drums, the basics. When I got to secondary school, I got professional help learning how to play drums and correct like silly mistakes and errors that I made. I even got to learn how to read drum music. I eventually started playing for choirs and conventions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, initially my dream was to like this. I think back then, if he said, what I want to be when I'm older, I probably would have said, be the drummer for TLC's concerts or like drum for like theaters and concerts and whatever. That was my initial dream. But yeah, drumming will always be my first love. I mean, even when I go to concerts, the first thing that kind of, if I'm not there for the artist, I'm usually there for the drummer or the backing vocalist or the bass player. You know what I'm saying? That's what I genuinely tend to lean on.
I mean, I didn't even know that there was a thing. I thought you just fell into music a different kind of way.
No, percussion was bad. Drumming was our first love, and then percussion, and then everything kind of cemented around that.
Because you said there was 4 of you. Where do you come in terms of your siblings? Do you have sisters and brothers, or is?
So yeah, I've got 2 brothers, 1 sister. I'm the oldest.
Your oldest? Well, I mean, you're only 21, so.
Well, still, what can one say, eh? Look at this one.
Here's what I want to know. Because obviously music came into your mental wheelhouse early because you were, so fascinated by percussion and by drums at an early age, right? So where do you think that came from, or who were like musical artists that you looked up to growing up, and you know, what really sparked it for you? Or what do you think, if you were to tell that story, sparked it for you?
Okay, what sparked it for me? So, I mean, I've always been into
church.
music. Yes. So church being first and foremost, because, I just used to always enjoy the choir, the harmonies, the live music element. I just used to love the way everything used to blend together, and just the way it used to make people feel, or how it made me feel, but especially the drums. And then even being at home, my mum used to play a lot of music. She used to love her records and play her stuff. And I also used to be fascinated with, the artists, reading the credits, like even from young, like, so yeah, I don't know, like I say church was the first introduction.
What were you raised as, religiously speaking? What denomination were you raised as?
Oh, so Christian. I guess Pentecostal.
Is Black British Church like
this guy?
Is it anything like, like down south American church?
Well, it's so funny you say that, because every time I've been to America, I've always said I want to go to an American church, just based on how it used to. Like, when you just watch the movies and stuff, and it used to be like the massive grand choir with like,
that was my church growing up.
So
that was how it was growing up for me.
But obviously, our church wasn't like that. So
what was it like? Does the preacher? Well, is it like? Are there? Because for us, church for the most part, even though anybody could come, church for the most part is like a segregated function. It just is, right? People born within certain backgrounds kind of went to certain churches. So, your church was a Black church, or there's a white church. You know what I mean? So there's segregated in that aspect. Like, was it the same for you too? Like, was church just Black, or was it more so mixed? And then, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on. And then,
no, I was just gonna be like, and then like, if so, like, what was that like?
So for me, I mean, all the churches that I went into were predominantly Black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, I kind of always thought church was more of a Black thing, to be honest with you, because from a kid, when I used to go to church, it used to always be Blacks. You know what I'm saying? It would be a surprise to see a white person in church. When I used to watch certain TV shows and films, it would be the Black gospel church, a Black gospel choir. Then the gospel music tended to be Black. You know what I'm saying? It's only as I got older, and when I started playing for choirs, conventions that we done, different churches will all do different performances. So it'll be like, so our choir have our name, the Rose of Sharon. Then another church another choir from another church will come. So it's almost like a massive concert of different choirs. And then that's when I'll be like, oh, so there is a white church, because there'll be a choir that's just strictly white people, or there'll be a choir that's mixed. And that's when I realized that, so I got that exposure and understanding through doing conventions around the UK and stuff like that.
Right.
And then also, as I got older, like one of the churches that I went to, they kind of made it their goal to be more inclusive, like including other races. So one of the things they'll do is that they'll have all the flags up. I mean, nowadays you see that quite often, but back then it wasn't something that's always done. But they had all the flags up, and what they're basically trying to say is, church ain't just for Black people. Anyone should be able to come into this church and feel welcome. So do I have all flags? Chinese, boom, 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 boom. And, do I encourage Black people to invite your work colleagues, invite this, invite that, invite different races, and let them feel welcome. And you know what I'm saying? And then, as you've got older, it just started noticing that churches became more, it wasn't just solely. In fact, nowadays, it's, I feel like, I don't know if you got a Hillsong, like the Hillsong church we've been going on your sides.
Hillsong?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, okay, no. Okay, cool. No, because I noticed like there's this like the Hillsong. I think I've gone to a couple of their events and stuff, and it's like, wow, in terms of, you see every race, every nation, everything that's all under one roof, kind of just celebrating like the same God kind of thing. And it's like, it's kind of nice. It's like, this is what it should be about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The only thing I love that, I don't know how, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, but the only thing I miss is because I feel like the music, like the way they praise and worship, I feel like
that shit's watered down.
Yeah. Like for example, like I remember for the first time, because I went to a Jehovah's Witness church one time. I mean, to me, I don't like to be closed-minded. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I grew up going to like a Christian Pentecostal church, but to me, although I grew up on that, I don't like to say, if someone else is a Jehovah's Witness, I've got friends that are Jehovah's Witnesses. They've invited me to a church before and I've gone. And I love the way they conduct their service, especially like the sermon, the comprehension at the end. You know what I'm saying? I love it. However, what I didn't like was, so in the church that I've usually go to, praise and worship is supposed to lead you and prepare you for the word. So it kind of erupts your soul and it gets you moving. And I loved all that. But I felt like with the Jehovah's Witness church, and again, like with the Hillsong, it's just that I felt like the music was very, as in your words, watered down.
It ain't got too much zest, like, too much seasoning to it.
Yeah, it's just like,
see, personally, when I go to church, when that's something I'm looking for, I like all that foolishness that go. I like all that hooting and hollering and running and
and that's what I love. I love the whole, like, the song was supposed to go into that, but then suddenly the intro would last 20 minutes alone, and then you just see the keyboard, the key guy, the drummer going,
you gotta do all that.
And then the choir loops the same line 20 million times, but in 20 different various harmonies. And like, to me,
my favorite thing when I was a kid, I kid you not, my favorite shit when I was a kid was when the choir, they be going on, and then they get real low and
yeah. It was just like, to me, it was like a musical theatre production. It was just
as a kid, when you go to church, that's really, I used to just be looking forward to the music. And I used to hate when we were late. I used to hate when we went to church late, and when you go in there, just the sermons happening. That didn't do anything for me as a kid.
Exactly. Like, now, and this is what I'm trying to say. And it's so funny how the dimensions change, because when I was younger, I used to only go just for the choir. Like, it was important for me to cap, because I used to relish it. But it's like, as I've got older and, gospel music's kind of changed. Okay. So for me, it was like, whereas before it was imperative for me to get there to catch the choir and the praise and worship. It's like, I don't know if what's changed. I don't know if they're trying to be more contemporary, who knows? But it's like now, because I'm no longer moved by it or by the movement, or I don't know what transition they've now taken, but it's like now, it's like I try and skip the praise and worship and just come there for the word, which is sad. And even like gospel music, I tend to find myself more listening to gospel music from the 90s and the early 2000s. I don't necessarily listen to the current gospel music, because I don't know, I just don't feel like it moves me as much. I don't feel like it was as soulful and gritty as it was back in the 90s, where I don't know. I just used to love.
When we were growing up, gospel was at like a peak, because we had the whole Kirk Franklin situation,
Fred Hammond,
the Yolanda Adams, all those things. It was huge, right?
Yeah.
So gospel was the whole thing at that point, and I think it reached such a plateau for what was happening at the time, because you could play like Kirk Franklin at the club. In my mind, I was a kid. In my mind,
no. But the thing is, but that's what I'm trying to say. The way the musicality of gospel back then, oh my gosh, like
it was a lot more. Yeah,
there was a groove, and I think that's what I miss about it nowadays. Like back then, just the way the keys would play, the bass lines, the harmony. It was just like, like to me, I miss that. So I tend to find myself stuck with playing the old school kind of 90s gospel stuff, because it gave me everything I needed.
It's changed a lot, because like even nowadays, singers like who are making it or breaking through, they don't have the same roots, right?
Yes.
So, a lot of singers back then, if you grew up singing in a church, you knew you could just go out and record it out.
You could just go out and
you could sing anything.
And you can just move people, because you got that.
They don't have it anymore.
Exactly. Which is why I'm no longer moved by it as much. Yeah, like, yeah. you hit it on it now.
Where did you grow up? What part of the UK did you predominantly grow up in?
Born and raised in London. London,
that's so broad.
South London. It's so funny you say that because it's so funny you say that it's so broad because like the UK in itself is so like one state in America is still way bigger than the UK on a whole, as a whole. And then London, like London is like a speck within the UK. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, when people over here, if they say the UK or, you know, we think everybody's from London. So.
Yeah, well, exactly. Not even just that, because even when I went to America, it would be like, oh, where you from? Oh, the UK. Oh, you from Paris? I'm like, well, Paris is in France, which is in Europe. But it's like, but I kind of understand their mindset and the fact that, I don't know if I kind of understand it because I don't understand it, but at the same time, I do see like the UK is so small in itself already. And then London just being like a speck within the UK. And then obviously, for example, New York, for example, is just like every state is quite massive. You know what I'm saying? And then within the states, you've got Brooklyn, for New York, for example, you've got Brooklyn, and even those are...
Yeah, every borough is its own city, honestly.
Yeah. And even the cities within the state is still bigger than London. You know what I'm saying? So
it doesn't feel that, I mean, you know, it doesn't feel that way. I think, you know why I think it doesn't feel that way is because when visiting London, depending on how you come in, right?
Yeah.
For Europe and stuff, everybody has the train. So you can kind of go to another country by train. You don't get that here. We don't have that same infrastructure. You can't travel, you know, from Holland and then go, you know, you just can't do that. If you fly in, and this is, you know, for anybody that's never been, if you fly in, you come into the airport, and this is another thing too. People don't realize how young America is as a country. But when you go to these other places, it hits you because there's no way that a city would have ever been built with an airport in mind in the UK because it was already pretty developed way before airports were a thing. So when you coming in and you're going into London, you're going to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on where you fly into, to get into the city from the airport. That's the craziest shit.
Okay, what I find so funny about what you just said as well, you exaggerated a bit when you said 2 hours, behave yourself. But I see what you mean.
I'm going to tell you how I fell asleep.
But mate, I'm trying to feel like, I swear that was the same for me because like, when I went to New York, I can't remember if I went to the JFK airport. I still had to take a taxi for like a big old 40 minutes to an hour before I got to like...
But that's just because New York traffic is gross. So, but the airport is not so far out.
Is it? To me, it felt like it was. But touching back on what you were saying before, I mean, with most Americans, I mean, going to a different state is a holiday in itself for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with us in the UK, so you've been to UK before, you've kind of toured the UK, so you're aware that, you know, you've got London, then you've got Birmingham, then you've got Manchester. You know what I'm saying? For us in the UK, we just see them as road trips. We don't really call that holidays because it's literally like a few hours drive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to be kind of bougie, you could take a plane there. I mean, I've done it before. I'm not going to sit on a train or a coach for that length of time. I'll take a plane to Blackpool or,
you
know, but they're all drivable distances. So we don't really deem that as a holiday. For us, going to, for example, Paris or Europe or Ireland or overseas, like to America, those are what we call holidays. But with Americans, for example, because America's so big in itself and then the amount of states, like you guys would consider like going from New York to flipping Miami, for example. That's a holiday to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you probably drove the distance. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that. That's a long ass drive.
But and then just that. But because you guys kind of got everything there, you don't necessarily, well, I'm not talking for all, but I know a lot of Americans don't venture out of America because they're hot from state to state. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And deem that as a holiday. But if I was in America, I would deem that if I went to Japan, that would be a holiday because I flew out of America to a different country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I get it. That makes sense.
But I wouldn't deem going from London to Scotland as a holiday to me because
Really?
I'm still within the UK, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
for me, it's almost like I'm still in the UK. So it's not really a holiday, but it's like a getaway.
That's how it was in Ireland. We were able to legit catch the train from one end of the country to the other. Legit, like 2 opposite ends of the country. And I'm kind of looking on my phone as we're kind of traveling around. I'm like, oh look. And then we were able to, get on a bus and go back to the other side of the country.
But I love
it was
that
only within a
do
few
that
hours.
in Europe. Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that you can do that in Europe as well. You can get the Eurostar, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you already can get the Eurostar from London to Paris.
Yeah.
And then there's trains that go from Amsterdam to, Paris and stuff like that. So, and yeah, that's like a train ride. And still within Europe, you could take the plane. We've now got the train option. So
yeah, I wish we did have that option because that would change things for the amount of distance. The interstate is cool, but it takes like 2, maybe 3 days for you to really go from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because you just can't push that for 24 hours straight.
Yeah, that's true.
Where have you only been to New York as far as the States go?
So I've been to New York, I think 2 or 3 times.
Oh, you got to go somewhere else now.
Well, the thing is, one of the trips I won. So it was a competition which I won. I don't know if I've been 2 or 3 times. I think I've only been twice. I mean, in general, I don't necessarily like going to the same place more than once. The world is so big, so I like to try and see a different place every time. The second time I went to New York, I won a competition, which is why I went there again. But yeah, I've been to New York and I've been to Atlanta. I was more in the rural part, I'll say. It wasn't like the main city. It was more like the outskirts. I think it was Conyers, if I remember correctly.
Not Conyers.
I was there.
What are you doing in Conyers?
Well, the thing is, it's actually my first. I think it was either my first or second big holiday. And my best friend's uncle lived there. And yeah, it was like a little break for us. So we went there, stayed there. But because it was beautiful to see like massive houses, a neighborhood with just black people, with these beautiful big houses.
You talking about slave houses?
Well, I mean, to me, I saw it and I was like, wow, because the houses are way bigger than we have in London. You know what I'm saying? Massive detached houses with beautiful greenery, beautiful garden, beautiful size. The whole neighborhood was black. And to me, it was just refreshing to see. Like, I hadn't seen anything like that before. And the fact that, the whole neighborhood was friendly, everybody spoke to each other. To me, it was just beautiful. It was very, it was just I would never forget that. It was a beautiful trip.
How long?
We didn't get to do much because obviously his uncle and aunt-in-law, because of, the wife, they worked a lot. And because they were so far out, you need to be able to drive to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, it was literally just, even to go to Walmart, it was like a 15, 20-minute drive. So,
oh, hell yeah.
More times.
Especially down there.
Yeah. So more times we were just watching American TV, which was fun and nice. And, we're chilling in the garden because the weather was beautiful. Was making silly home videos, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
It was just for me, it was a beautiful break regardless. Like, it was a nice change of scenery. The weather was nice. Just seeing a different perspective of life and like, wow, this is how it is on the other side. Like, it was a very refreshing trip.
Well, once COVID breaks and we survive,
boy,
you're more than welcome to come over. And I like where I am in terms of it being home. I do want to move and be elsewhere, but I'm centrally located. So a lot of places are only a few hours away. Like a lot of, so like, for example, like St. Louis is only 3 hours away, or Chicago. Well, yeah, I have. Yeah. So
Okay.
Chicago is only 5 hours away. Atlanta's only 5 hours away. Nashville is 2 hours.
Okay. So pretty central.
Cincinnati is 2 hours. So so everything is like around you.
Yeah.
And so, I've gone to a lot of places just casually in the day.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, so whenever these people take their vaccine,
Boy,
you bring your ass over here. We'll hit some marks.
Well, I don't know.
And I actually take you into the city. It'll take you into Atlanta.
I mean, for me, like the main reason I wanted to go to America because my main interest in general is music, obviously, theme parks. I love theme parks, and America seems to have the best theme parks. But I don't know, just with all that's been revealed and this come out in 2020, I don't know. It's just that it's almost kind of changed my desire and interest to
everybody. These motherfuckers are embarrassing, yo.
Like, to me, it's just for yourself. Like, yeah, it's just.
See, I told y'all. See, this is what I was telling everybody. Everybody's like, we don't want y'all ass over here. Keep that bullshit over there. See how y'all got people thinking? A damn shame. Okay.
Boy.
It's like, yeah, no, the racism.
It's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, racism's everywhere, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's rooted here. What's been your perception of things that have been going on lately, or the news? Not even necessarily lately, just within the last year, minus COVID, because we know that's a whole thing. But what do you all see in your media, or what do you hear about?
Well, to be honest with you, and if I'm totally honest with you, I try not to focus on the upkeep of it, only because I know that with the media in particular, they have great power in and control in what they want to be, you know what I'm saying, what narrative they want to put out and what they want to, you know what I'm saying?
Right, you gotta be careful.
Exactly. And to me, I don't necessarily want to protect my mindset, but for me, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I'm well. And to me, sometimes if you just sit and just indulge in the news 24/7 and the negativity, boom, 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 to me, it can just deplete your energy, sap the joy out of you. You know what I'm saying? Of course.
If you stay on the internet and you consume that shit too much, what you end up doing is you end up storming the nation's capital.
You're not because boy.
Because you've been, fucking conditioned to see only one thing one way.
Exactly. One perspective, one this, one that, one
Stupid.
that. And for
That's
me,
the stupidest shit.
Yeah. For
Some
me,
people, here's the thing too, like, because you're mentioning, there are other avenues, and you do have the ability as an individual to unplug and get away from it. A lot of people who are privileged don't want to. It comes down to nothing else but other than they just don't want to. They don't want to do better. They don't want to consume better. They don't want to be diverse or listen to this opinion and that opinion. It's more so like, no, it's really lazy thinking. It's really lazy to just be like, this is what I believe in and that's it.
And this is my issue as well, because we're in a day and age where, nowadays almost everybody's got a smartphone, but nobody wants to be smart with their phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all got a smartphone. We've all got access to the smartphone that can give you Google, that can give you a dictionary, that can give you this, all at your flipping fingertips. But nobody wants to actually utilize any of them apps or features. It's just like someone could say, boom, this, and you will always have to take it as gospel, always have to take it as facts, and then you will retweet it or re-forward it and not do your own research with your smartphone. You know what I'm saying? You want to be smart with your...
They be on the damn Facebook and shit, and they be going in on the comments about, but the article will have its title, because you know how they title articles to kind of pull you in, and they be going in, and then somebody's like, "Did you click the article?" These motherfuckers don't even read it.
Oh no!
if you put something in a meme,
somebody else read something from the article, and whatever their interpretation is of the article, they will go by that. Oh my days! Tom said, "Boom." Did you hear what someone said? But they're quoting. Yeah. They're not quoting off the article. They're quoting off of. They're
somebody
quoting
else
off Tom's page. Yeah. But if you have
and Tom got that from Jenny, and Jenny got
and
that
then
from
Jenny
Kim.
got that, and then, there you go. And if you go all the way down the line of 200, only one person read the article, but everybody's quoting from the one person's quote from the article. Piss off, you know what I'm saying? Like,
piss off.
For me, I just feel like, yeah.
Hey, you want to know something?
Go on.
Since I've known you, I always find an option, like not an option. I always find the opportunity in conversations when something is like bullshit or something is just like ridiculous. I always find a reason to use taking the piss.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Taking the piss. That's my favorite shit.
You guys don't say that though.
No.
Oh my days.
I think, let's see, our equivalent to taking the piss would be.
You're tripping? No.
I don't know. Probably just bullshit.
Yeah.
But you know, oh gosh, it's so funny. I think I'm somebody now, you know.
Oh my days.
Oh wait, I want to share this with people before we go on to something else. I'm gonna always associate knowing you with the first time that I had fish and chips officially.
Yes.
Y'all, Jai and his friends took me to have fish and chips.
Yeah, traditional British.
I just had the best time ever. I really did.
No, I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
Such a blur, man. It's such a blur. I hate. It's like that when you really are having a good time, and you know, like you said, getting lost in those moments. It just goes by so suddenly. So it's more important now more than ever to really enjoy, you know, every little bit.
Honestly,
but, you know, I don't know. I definitely, you know, hope one day to see you again and, you know, be able to hang out and talk shit and take the piss out of shit.
Hey. Yes.
But switching gears here. Let's talk about your music. All right. Recently you just released a single called Tinder.
Hello.
Hold on. I want to see if I get these lyrics right, because you got to understand. I listen to some shit and I bop to it and I don't even understand shit sometimes. I'll be like,
my days.
Yeah. Like right now, like I have a friend of mine who is a Jamaican artist, and he's putting out all these, you know, tunes and things. And, you know, if they get going, when a Jamaican artist gets going, you be like, I don't know what the fuck you said, but that shit feel good.
But the flow's good, the vibe's good.
You know what I mean?
And I'm all with it. You know what I'm saying?
and it's the same with Afro beats. It's blowing up for Western Africa, the music. And I'm just like, oh, I'll be riding, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. You know, then I listen to people in the UK and I'm like, okay, I should get this.
My day.
I know English, right? I should. Right. But then some shit comes out, and I want to see if I got these lyrics right.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. This is off the top of my head. I'm not gonna cheat.
Okay.
I almost did. I almost cheated, but I'm not. Right. You say I met you on Cinderella, but without the C or without the Ella. Is that right?
Nope.
See, but in my mind, that's how it comes out, and I'll be like,
but without the C and without the Ella.
Is that what it is?
So what's the song called?
It's called Tinder.
Okay. So I said, I came across you on Cinderella, but with a T and without the Ella.
See, how it came after me. But I still be riding.
But the giveaway is Tinder. So I'm giving away what I'm actually saying.
Yeah.
So Cinderella,
so
if you take away the C and put a T and you take away the L, it spells Tinder.
You know what? I don't know. It was just so, I don't know. It's so fun. It's just a fun track, but it's a good one if you, and I'll put links to it in the show notes and everything, but it's a good one if you're riding on the expressway. It makes me drive faster.
Okay. I don't know about that.
You know how you got your soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where I'm just like, oh shit, and it makes you drive faster. So it's your fault.
Hey,
if I get a speeding ticket, I'm gonna need some of those pounds. It's gonna
listen. Just don't blame me for any facts.
Just talk to us about the single and what you kind of been working on here as we kind of transition into a new way of like consuming media and sharing content and things like that. Just go into it for me.
Okay, so prior to Tinder, I dropped 3 singles: The Wait Is Over, ATC, and What You Know About Me. And for me, so those are all songs that I kind of chose to release. But I had a whole load of songs that I was kind of sitting on. I thought, rather than me pick what the next single is or should be, let the consumers, the people that are going to be listening to it and buying it, let them decide. So I hosted a listening party and played all my unreleased tracks and kind of done like a voting panel afterwards. And Tinder ended up being the most voted track, which is why it was my next single. And in fact, I think it's definitely one of my personal favorites, but it's also probably been the best, most well-received song I've released in the fact that just in terms of the response, I mean, with all my other songs, I've released it and I've dropped a visual to support it as well. I mean, with my very first single, The Wait Is Over, I did that primarily because it was my first independent project. So it was a great way to introduce myself audibly and visually. With ATC, for example, because the song's quite repetitive, I thought that a visual coming out with it, or at least, would help.
I think of it as more of a dance track when I listen to it.
Yeah, it's very much a dance track.
It's good for the gym too.
Yes, very good for gym. I mean, gym fitness. So, but because it's quite repetitive, I don't know. I just felt like a visual support it nicely. And then with What You Know About Me, I already had a visual for that. I had the whole visual concept for that song, even while I was writing it. So it just made sense to bring that out. But with this song, for example, Tinder, it was one of those songs where it almost sold itself. It was like it was so good. Well, I personally thought it was so good that to me, I felt like it sold itself in terms of like the lyrics, the concept, the beats. And it's actually a blessing in disguise because given the whole pandemic and everything else, doing a visual for it or doing a kind of visual that I would want to do for it is, I don't want to say it's impossible, but to me, I don't necessarily want to do a video of me wearing a mask and everybody around me wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really want to have to do a 2 meter distance video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like to me, I want freedom.
Wait, hold on. Cause some people, 2 meters is 6 feet, right?
Oh, is it? My maths is crap, by the way.
I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't know if you guys got that whole rule going on by keeping 2 meters distance.
But they say over here they say
6 feet.
6 feet. So I don't know if it's the same amount.
Oh, possibly. But
see, I don't know my conversions that well.
Oh yeah, listen, me and maths is just out the window. So yeah, I thought to myself, so I'll just wait for this whole thing to go over, and then I'll do a video then. But funny enough, as I said, like I've not even done a video to this song, but it's doing so well. I've had people calling me saying, "Oh my gosh, you're the COVID vaccine! Like your song's so uplifting, your song's so this and it's beautiful, like just hearing the different responses, and from different age groups as well. It's just like, considering, the topic of the song being Tinder, why am I hearing that kids are loving it as well? Like,
it just feels good. It just feels fucking good. What I don't understand personally is why hasn't Tinder reached out to you for their theme song? They could use it.
Why? Said I get by what?
Why has Tinder not been like, hey, we want to use this?
Do you know what the funny thing is though? What was recently brought to my attention, I didn't realize how many. I think I come across 2 other songs that are also called Tinder, which came as a surprise to me. But none of them have been as far as I ain't trying to say. I ain't trying to blow my own trumpet, but
no, yeah. definitely not, because I don't even know those. So,
well, as I said, I found that by accident. But when I played it, I was like, it doesn't have the same. I ain't saying nothing.
Talk your shit. Say it.
No, I'm just saying that. Like, I like the whole fun element that my song offers, but then I'm just being me. I'm just being me, really and truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just glad it's been, well received and stuff. And
is there a plan? Is there a plan for a full project or like a full EP?
Yes, indeed. In fact, it's literally almost done. I just want to amend one track that I've done, do like an intro, and then it's literally done. So see, I don't really want to say, yeah, by the end of the month, and then boom, the end of the month comes and goes.
No, don't put. I don't
put, because
here's the thing. If you say a time, number one, I'll edit it out for you. I won't. but no. It's like, what is time right now?
Well, to be honest with you, this will probably be the best time to do it, especially with like it being lockdown and most people being indoors. It's a great time for people to appreciate it. But at the same time, I don't like having regrets of anything that I put out. And it's actually been a blessing in disguise, the fact that I didn't bring it out when I initially intended, because the initial plan was to bring out an EP. I think it was end of last year. And then this whole Tinder idea came and I was like, oh, in fact, I might as well add this to the project because it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote another song and I was like, oh, let me add that. So I thought, you know what? Let me just hold fire, wrap these songs up and just, release it as a full budget of work rather than doing 2 separate EPs or just having like one EP then having 2 random rap tracks as a single. Also, because the next direction I'm looking to take is going to be slightly different. So I just thought it just makes sense to pull it all under one project.
Yeah.
So although there's been a delay in the releasing, it's actually kind of been a blessing in disguise, and it's actually made sense because it's now meant I'm able to put more in. It'll be well received, hopefully. I want to talk
about, because maybe you'll have a very interesting take on this. I want to talk about crossover appeal.
Okay.
Musically, I can name, only because I'm me. I'm more aware of things. I'm so well versed.
Hello.
But no, truly, there have been some successful artists who have come from the UK, who have come from Europe, and who have made it really big or have had quite a bit of success here in the US. But what do you think? Because to date, I feel like in the realm of hip hop, right? The realm of hip hop and the rap genre, I don't feel like there has been anyone outside of like we all know Monie Love, right?
Oh yeah.
But I don't think there's been anyone that has successfully transitioned, and I could be wrong, so if anybody knows of something, don't get at me, but or just tell me, just inform me. But I don't feel like there's been anyone that has successfully transitioned the UK sound over to the UK sound in terms of, hip hop influence and rap and that genre over to this side. Do you know of anyone, or why do you think that would be, or why do you think it's so different that there hasn't at least been that one, household name in that genre, in that field?
See, it's very interesting you say that. And I say that only because this is where music has changed a bit. It's because, so for example, in the 90s, and that being the era in which, you know, Murney Love was, you know, that's where she came out, she was at her prime.
That's where she was in the middle.
Why did you say that?
It's because that was her song. Murney in the middle. What she at in the middle?
Okay.
Remember?
Okay. Yes. But yeah, I just feel like, and this is probably why the 90s is probably one of my favorite eras as well, because I felt like everybody was cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, well, not everyone, but most people had a distinctive sound, and most people respected and accepted for their uniqueness, and they all brought something different to the table. You know what I'm saying? And it was embraced and celebrated. But I feel like nowadays it's almost like, and it's funny because T-Pain even had the same conversation on some interview he had a few days ago. Well, I noticed anyway, but it was just saying that back in the day, it would be a thing where the aim was for everyone to be different. But it's like nowadays, it's like everyone now has to be the same. And it's like, if you sound different, it's almost like it's disregarded or it's wrong. It's not accepted. But if you sound the same, it's celebrated. It's crazy. And I'm going to use like Craig David as an example, because Craig David, you know Craig David?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So he obviously is a UK artist. Amazing, great sound, great style, great everything. Americans loved him. He crossed over, and it's almost as if they tried to change him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened when he went across, but it's when he started bringing out music from like the American side, it's like it changed. His style changed, and it's almost like, I don't know. I don't know if they tried to change him or what, but the UK kind of fell off a bit. They're like, oh, I don't like this new Craig David. And then the UK kind of dropped him a bit. And then he didn't really blow up in America. But using them two examples, Murney Love came from the UK. She went to America and her style remained the same. She didn't change. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She remained consistent. She didn't come over and change her style. And you're forgetting a very important person. You said Murney Love. What about Slick Rick?
I mean, you're right.
Slick Rick is another example, you know, a guy, he's actually groundbreaking. He's groundbreaking. Like, he's from London, he's from the UK, he crossed over, he didn't change his style, and look how he's holding to, he's probably he is another great example of a crossover. A very successful crossover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a very successful crossover. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Americans really respect. So you're talking on a genre of hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
Because
the flow, the thing is the overall flow, the overall sound, just phonetically for us is super different, right?
Yeah.
Like we said, you know, there's like, you know, the Jamaican artists, they have their vibe and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But when you hear, at least for me personally, when you hear someone with that accent and they're rapping over a beat, it's like so far and few in between that when it happens, it's like, what is this? So it almost has to be either very subtle or it has to be so stellar that it makes you be like, oh, I got to look into this some more. And I think that a lot of people get kind of lost somewhere in the mix.
Yeah.
When that with finding those artists, because like, was it grime?
Yeah.
What is the grime genre exactly?
I'm going to quickly go back a little bit.
Okay.
So just going about all that you said, I think for a long time, the UK was always kind of inspired by the American rap, hip hop, and
just to be clear, real quick, the world was inspired by it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The world, of course, the world. Correct, you're right. The world was inspired.
I just want to lay that in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but you're very, very right. I'm from London. I'm from the UK, so I only can talk from that perspective. I can't talk for Asia. I just want to
let the people know.
I can't talk for Europe, but I can certainly talk for London. And I feel like, you know, back in the day, probably yes, he was very inspired by them. Maybe at times tried to be like them. But whilst we embraced American hip hop and rap, I noticed that, you know, they didn't necessarily like or really embrace us, which,
right.
you know, whatever. But I think it got to the stage where UK, London, we kind of found our own identity. And as a result, we no longer needed to kind of prove or try and win over the American audience. We just did us unapologetically. And yeah, the grime, you know, genre was, you know, one of the genres that is literally a UK London owned, you know what I'm saying? Like it's us. And we did that without even caring, you know what I'm saying, about what anybody, this is us and we're doing us boldly. And funny enough, now, I mean, Americans didn't get it initially, but now all of a sudden artists like Drake have, you know, taken a liking to it, now trying to do his take, you know what I'm saying? And bringing it to the Americans' attention and making Americans kind of understand it a bit. I don't know. But I just feel like with the UK, you know, London, we don't necessarily beg or crave the American attention as much as we used to, in the fact that, I mean, I say crave it, meaning like beg it. I don't know if it's even a term that you guys understand, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but
I think
it's like, I think ever since you've become independent and just done us, it's almost like there's now been more of an interest. Oh, this style's different. We don't understand it, but we like it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm now hearing American drill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
American grime. Like it's like they're now trying to do their version. It's like, wow, look how the tables have turned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time, they wouldn't even breathe on us.
I think that on a deeper level also, and this is just failure on probably like the education system or just being exposed to other outlets. I think on a deeper scale that Black Americans don't often have, well, at least back then, you know, before the internet, you didn't have the luxury of even knowing that someone that looked like you, you know, I mean, of course you know, but you didn't think, oh, someone that looked like you existed in a realm that there was also music coming from that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because even the artists that made it through every other year or so, they did have some quality that, like you said with Craig David, where they kind of shifted the sound a little bit to make it more palatable.
Well, right.
You know,
for them.
Yeah. So there's people that make it through, and it's like, you know, that they're from, you know, the UK. You know that they have that background, but it's never to the point that they put it so much at the forefront that you find more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But just going back, I'm even thinking, I wonder if that's where the damage is. The fact that Americans try to make it more palatable for themselves, and as a result, they're completely ruining the product. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of
just taking it organically.
Adapting.
This is it, how it is. Either like it or hate it. You know what I'm saying? But when you try and remix it and alter it to make it more palatable and then still not win with it, that means you've now altered the product and they've lost in both sides, because now, for example, with Craig David, which, you know, he took a long break after this because the UK no longer liked what the Americans done with him. The Americans don't even like what the Americans done. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, so now he's left in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And who's to blame? You know what I'm saying? But,
right.
And this is why, again, being an independent artist is such a blessing, because you can just do you, and you've got full control of what you do. And, you know, you're not answerable to a label. You're not answerable to, you know what I'm saying? So it's great having the support of the label and the fact that, you know, the funding, the exposure, and, you know, what they can do in the grand scheme of things. But there's also loads of negatives in the fact that, you know, if they can limit what you say, if they're not happy with what you want to say, you can't always 100% express yourself. If they don't like the concept of this song, they have the power to say you're not releasing that song. You know what I'm saying? You know, they can limit you as an artist. They, you know, they've got the power to expose you or limit you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're an independent artist, you've kind of got nothing to lose because, you're going to give 100% for yourself, number one. And if it's taken, if it's well received, great. If it's not, you can say, well, I've tried, but you don't have the pressure or, we put this amount of money into you and you're not delivering, because that's a pressure in itself. You know what I'm saying? If you don't release this within a certain amount of years, we're going to shelf you. And then, you know what I'm saying? Your shelf, but then you've got.
Would you as an artist, not to cut you off, would you like, well, just in general, I'm sure, but would you like, or would you cater to having a larger American audience if that kind of came up? Like, would you, I don't know if I'm asking that right. How would you feel if that was something that came up for you? Like, if it was like, hey, you're going to get exposed to this broader audience, internationally, only we got to tweak this sound a little bit. How would you handle something like that?
Okay. So for me personally, and I feel like this is why I kind of thank God for the timing, because from a very young age, I've always loved and appreciated music. I've always known I wanted to work within music. I weren't too sure under what capacity. Initially, I thought it would be drumming. As I got older and started developing other skills, it was like, okay, back in dancing, okay, back in singer, okay, boy group, boy band, okay. I'm saying? Like, I had all this, but I just knew it was going to be within that capacity. The timing in which it kind of kicked off was a blessing, because to me, when I read all these stories and watch all these documentaries about artists within my favorite era, which is the 90s, and the crookedness and the slyness and all the, behind the scenes drama, scandal, controversy, and blah, 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 blah. It was ugly. And even up until today, when I'm seeing certain artists talking about Jaguar White, for example, saying how, she watches certain performances of her back in the day, and it's like she's conflicted because she's getting so much joy from it, but yet so much pain, because joy from the fact that this is phenomenal music, but pain because, behind the scenes, the drama, the problems, just to even get this music out, the conflict and be it with the labels, be it with the team, you know what I'm saying? So it just made it all very, actually it's pleasure and pain. So getting to the point, what I love about, doing music at a time where, I'm independent, I'm not really answerable to anybody, is that I do music for me first and foremost. So to me, I'm not trying to follow a trend. I'm not trying to fit a trend. I literally said, I miss music that makes me feel like this. Rather than wait for somebody else to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? So I literally done music to please me first and foremost. And if one person loves it, great. If 20 people love it, great. If 20,000 people love it, like, to me, as long as I'm happy with it and I have no regrets, I've already won. So, and I feel like the blessing of that is, as big as, no matter how big I get, I will always have joy performing my music because I'm literally performing me. Now, some artists, for example, may decide, this is the new trend, I'm going to jump on this. But it may not necessarily be them, or it may not be their interest.
Right.
Or, for example, they may be in a label and they say, I want it to sound like this. I want it to be Tupac. But they may not be Tupac. They're not Tupac. But be who? But no, I'm saying, like, sometimes the label will give you like, be more like this. And it's like, well, Tupac is about.
Hold on. Go back. you said you were just saying what now?
Oh no, so I'm just saying, for example, like sometimes, like, being of a label, for example, they may pressure you to kind of be like, so be the next Tupac or be the next, you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like
that takes me out.
And I'm just like, not what do you have to offer? What can you put on the table? They're now wanting to market you over someone else that's already a great legend in his own rights. And you know what I'm saying? And basically they want it to be a weak carbon copy, a photocopy of someone else. Right. And that pressure in itself, okay, you have to sound like this, then they get other people to write your music and then you're now performing what's not you. As a result, you kind of lose the drive or the passion, or it's almost unrelatable because like this ain't me, you know what I'm saying? And this is probably why I very rarely do covers. And if I do covers, for example, I always find songs that I can relate to so that I can
What's a song you can relate to?
Well, as I said, I very rarely do covers. But for example, like just say like I was asked to sing at a wedding, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what's a song you would sing it with?
Well, the funny thing is,
forever.
I see now, and that's the thing. Like to me, I don't like touching classics. Like to me, that song is great, and unless you can sing it just as good as or better, don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? That's my approach. Or give it your own twist. But I don't know. For me, I just feel like, so answering your initial question, would I tweak something to cater to a certain audience? I doubt it, because to me, this is what I'm putting to the table. If you like it, that to me, if the suggestion to tweak it, I agree with, or I feel like it's a good idea, or it's complementary to my concept or whatever, then yeah. But if it's not complementary to my initial idea, or it throws my whole concept completely out the window or to a different direction that I don't necessarily feel comfortable with, then no, I wouldn't do it, because to me, it's my song, it's my baby, and I need to be happy with how I bring it up and how, you know what I'm saying, how I maintain it, and for me, regret is the most annoying feeling ever. It's one of the feelings that I hate regret. My thing is to not have any regrets. I don't like having regrets. So to me, everything I do, 20 years later, I can hear Tinder and know exactly why I wrote Tinder, why I worked with that producer, why I did it like this. What I'm saying, because I stand behind it 100%. And that's how I like to do things.
Yeah.
So that I can look back in it and have no regrets.
Honestly, I feel like with it being, we're in 2021 and there's so much that's accessible to us that wasn't before.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to expose ourselves to so many different outlets and so many different genres in terms of just music in general.
Yeah.
And I think you really play yourself by looking for things that you're only comfortable with, right? It really just, you miss out on a whole lot by staying within what you know instead of being like, hey, let me check this out. Or this sounds different. Let me listen to this. I can't stand to be with somebody or be with a group of people. I don't know if you ever experienced this, but you get around a bunch of your cousins and them, and let's say it's like a function going on, and y'all, hanging out, y'all kicking back, you playing the music, whatever. Everybody expects a certain playlist to happen. So if anything comes in that throws it off, they're like, man, what is this whole shit?
Yeah.
You ever ran into that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most annoying thing. Like, we have to listen to strictly gangster rap the whole time.
Oh, piss
really?
off.
But,
yeah,
like I said, there's something unique about having a crossover appeal. I think that's awesome if it's something that's already there. But even if it's not, I encourage people to just really do the work and try to expose yourself to other sounds and other like creative just outlets in general, because it just changes everything for you.
It does.
But opens you up.
Let me just give me an example based on the example question that you gave me. Mm-hmm. So, for example, you said, if they said, can you just tweak it a little bit? And let's just say, for example, they said, your song is really great, but if you just mention the word guns in a couple of your lines and guns and the BITCH word and like whatever, that audience there would really, really appeal to it, and or just those buzzwords will elevate you as an artist and make them embrace you. Well, first of all, I'm not about the gun lifestyle. Number two, that BITCH word is not even in my vocabulary, and I don't even address girls like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So
I gotta, you know what, John? I gotta communicate with you more, because everybody I got to get to the point where I just start spilling out stuff.
No, but to me, it's that. But I was going to say, like, so me dropping them buzzwords, guns, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so it may win me 1 million more followers, whatever else. But is it me? How does it relate to me? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I may get a few more sales just by adding in buzzwords, but if it doesn't relate to me, if it's not my life, if it doesn't represent me, if it doesn't relate to me, then I can't do it. And I mean, I know in this day and age, numbers are important, but I do things, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, you do it for the love, but
right.
I'm not prepared to go against myself or, as I said, I don't like regret, and I can't look back at myself and be like, and cringe at my own work, because they said if I say guns 20 times in the second verse, it will really appeal to the audience at that time, and boom, 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 boom. And then 20 years later, I hear that song and I cringe at my own music because I'm saying something that isn't me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's whack. No, thank you.
So in answer to your question, if it doesn't compliment me, if it doesn't coincide with my initial concept and blah, 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 I'm sticking strict. Yeah, I'm not entertaining.
Do you ever want to try and live elsewhere or leave the UK for some time? You know, have you ever thought about kind of that idea?
It's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun you said that, because I've spoken to a couple of my friends about this, you know, and they've said that, you know, this ain't their home, but they've not found their home yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I've not had that feeling. I've not been around many places, but I can't say I've been somewhere and been like, oh my days, I need to stay here forever. This is my home. Like, I've been places, I've enjoyed it for what it is. I've enjoyed the moments, I've enjoyed the experience, but I've always been happy to come back to London. I've always eventually looked forward to, I mean, like America, I love the food, in terms of the restaurants, I love the theme parks, I love the experience, I love the weather, but I've not gone there saying, oh, extend my trip by another month. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, 3 weeks is over and I'm going home and I'm happy to go home. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Amsterdam, I've been.
What do they call it when someone goes away to like study or to a sabbatical? Is that what it's called?
Oh, well, yeah, sabbatical is more like when you...
Or is that just only religious related?
Oh, no. So, for example, sabbatical, because like some workplaces do it. Like some people would leave their job and go on a 6-month sabbatical. And within that 6 months, they'll either travel the world or they'll live in another country and then come back to work after 6 months or after a year.
It must be nice.
Yeah, well... I mean, I got another friend who traveled the world, and initially his plan was to only do it for a year and come back. He's never come back since. It's now been over a decade. Yeah. So, he literally said to us, I'm going to travel the world for a year. In fact, I even borrowed a book from him, and he goes, you know, look after the book, make sure I get it back when I come back. I go, yeah, of course. A whole decade, over a decade has gone. He's not returned. And I think he's still got the book. I've still got the book. And I'm now thinking about giving it to a charity because I've long ago finished a book and it's now a burden. Taking up space in my ass. So, and I ain't gonna lie, and it's looking a bit tattered now as well. To be honest with you, I bet he's even forgot about that book. I bet he's even forgotten about that book because it's literally been, I think 15 years, 14 years. Who knows? It's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if he settled down in Australia, but
I would totally, if someone was like, if the opportunity came up and I could be in London, for example, for like a year and just kind of be working there and collaborate with people. I would totally do it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. I would, because I think it would just open up the doors for like things that I would want to do collaboratively that I can't do if I'm not there. You know what I mean? Just my POV. But
that makes sense.
All right, so it looks like we kind of are going over time here. I think this is going to be a 2-part episode, which I'm excited about. And I want to kind of get into, a little riff that's happening here. I want to get on and dive into this with you, John. But we'll take a stop here. As you know, you can find us all over the internet, Ubiquitous Blacks. Type that into Google, find us, chat us up, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We have a Twitter, but I don't use it because I took the piss out of Twitter.
No.
But maybe I will. And also, all the guest episodes for 2020 will be available on our official YouTube page. So be looking for that in full length for those of you who prefer that platform. They will all be up once you have heard this episode. But Jai, do you want to kind of just tell the people where they can find you before we go?
Yeah. So my name is Jai, Jigh, and you can find me on socials, JIGGY, JIGH, that's Jiggy Jai, Jiggy Jai, at Jiggy Jai, Insta, Twitter, SoundCloud, whatever.
And I will also be sure to leave all the details for those of you who couldn't even understand what he just said. In the
nice one, mate.
Notes.
Much obliged. Much obliged.
All right. So now, people, whether you are Black in Kansas City,
whether you're Black in London,
remember, we are Black.
Are Black everywhere.
Almost all right. That was good.